I'm about to pull these transmission lines out, and I just want to document that they hook up right beside the oil pan, and they do not go on this side of that cradle there. So finally the transmission is out. Took about 35 minutes to pry that thing out of here. I had to leave the torque converter and flywheel on because the engine won't turn to get the little nuts that are in between. With the transmission out, see, on a regular vehicle with a big long hood, you could take the entire engine transmission out. That's not the case here. Now for lifting the motor, I've disconnected the heater hoses, the motor mounts, the the battery cables, some wiring like this. Got to remove the fuel pump hose. I got the throttle cable out of the way. I'm going to try to put some bolts in. Normally when people pull an engine, it's got the head on it, but I think I can strap it to that. It should lift right out. Here's some documentation of where these wires go. This white wire with a red stripe goes here. Is that a oil sending unit? And then this red wire with a white stripe goes way over here. So then we have this clip that went to the transmission. And we have a coil here. These three wires from the harness. One goes to the positive side of the coil. This negative side goes to the distributor. And here are those other two wires that go to these sending units back here. That tire and wheel's gotta go. Just to document how this all comes apart, these go up into the body. This goes on this side of this plate here, and it has a ground that goes to it right here, and that goes through this first hole. And then you've got this, which mounts to the inner firewall here with these screws. Well, they're really bolts. They have nuts on the other side. And then there's a ground here. One small wire comes from the body, and this comes from this. Space to breathe. I'm here about 4 or 5 days later. I've been busy, but I'm back on this for just a few minutes. Nothing major. I wanted to address something first about the channel. There's only part 2, 3, and 4 so far. This will be video number 5. If you're wondering where video 1 is, check out my friend's YouTube channel, which is a little more established than mine, where we did a complete pressure washing of this van. His channel is Jared 1970 Monty. No spaces. Check out his channel. He's got a lot of content. So the heater box is held in with 3 bolts behind the battery, thanks to the Econoline Facebook group helping me figure out how this comes out without tearing it up. Once the heater box was unbolted, I was able to scoot over this vent channel right here over to the left some, and that released it. And I unhooked a few cables, as you can see they're dangling right there, and I was able to just kind of pull out and down and tilt it out. So let's see if this cable actually operates from the controls over there. So there's a little plastic shield here for fresh air intake. That should come off so I don't melt it. And then there's the rubber floor mat. So that plastic shield is held on by some screws. It's been a little while since I welded, so I thought that this battery tray might be a good way to introduce myself back into the hang of it. It seems like that would be much easier to do than all this mess, and I'll get my practice in. So I bought a 13x7 Group 27 universal battery tray. And all it is the bottom. This side of this is pretty good. I can weld the tray bottom into that. Over here is not so good. The top part of this is pretty good, but once it gets down here, it's bad. The good thing is the battery tray has a little bit of a lip up, and I might have enough to take care of it. But I'm probably going to have to add a little bit of steel into it. Before I tear all into this, I think it's important to document just exactly how low this sits. So that comes out to about 11 inches. We won't want it to be any higher than that in fear of the battery not fitting. And the original battery tray sticks out no more than about 7 inches. All the little screws are out for this vent, but it is extremely brittle and it is stuck to the body. And there's a little vent hole right there, interestingly enough, for coolant if it's leaking to escape, stay out of the cab. I'm going to try to break this free like this. Feels pretty loose now. There's a little bushing between the drain hole. So there is a gasket between. Get it out without breaking. There's the gasket. I'll make a new one of those at some point. With the light on the other side of the sheet metal, you can see the daylight coming through right here. And of course right there. The lower rust was here and that. And I believe that this was part of the original battery tray. And this is just a seam here.